Oh, it's a recording. Oh, the time is going down. Oh, this one. Oh, all of them. Yeah. Mind blowing. Look at all this one. What was it about? Can we read? Lifetime something? Something. Oh, it's gone up. Something like that. This. That. Anyway, and Karun and all of them came up. Look, they're the cool ones. They're the good ones, mind blowing, them ones. All the ladies, all the cool ones. Yay! You, we can watch them or have a look how they did it, who did it in Platinum Ball. Oopa. Okay. I just dropped it. What was that? Oh, this one was the one. Oh, that was the Spanish news, the Chile news. That's the Chile news. Look, all in Spanish. It's probably live. It's not live. I don't know. Chile news. Was it? Okay, that was Chile news. What's this one? Oh, this is one that it said, the Facebook stage generally few things say pick 90s, then this design few things say pick 90s. The design from the I know game universe, the art once in a lifetime. It's hard to read to myself. They can read, can it?
Facebook estate Gimli. Few things say peak 90s than these designs. Few things say peak 90s than these designs from the amalgam universe, the once in a lifetime Google search. Few things say peak 90s than these designs from the amalgam universe, the once in a lifetime hybrid universe created by at Deke Official and at Marvel. Missing a stay. Show results with a stay. Few things say peak 90s than these designs from the amalgam universe, the once in a lifetime hybrid universe created by at Deke Official and at Marvel. Missing a stay. Show results with a stay. 13k likes, 224 comments. Jimly on February 22nd, 2024. Few things say peak 90s than these designs from the amalgam universe, the once in a missing Facebook a stay. Images. Jim Lee. Few things say peak 90s than these designs. Jim Lee. First look at my hash spawn Bateman crossover. Jim Lee. 23rd February 2024. Few things say peak 90s than these designs from the amalgam universe. Lee writes in his post, highlighting why he's the perfect artist to missing Facebook a stay. There is a subreddit for them, but it is small, so I thought some of you just didn't know about it. https://www.reddit.com/r/amalgam comics. Missing Facebook estate Jim Say lifetime. Jim Lee has been drawing comics for more than 30 years and is one of the most popular comic book artists of all time. The impact is dynamic. 8 key moments in this video. Missing Facebook estate. Few things say peak designs. Designs amalgam lifetime. Jim Lee's X-Men Artist Edition. Spotlight with comic book comparisons. Gabe loves 90s comics.
Alright. Get it up here. This where they are. Put it on the link. Link.
Discussion. What are your thoughts on the Amalgam comics? Would you want to revisit that universe? R/DC Comics. Loved this as a kid. Marvel and DC should each do an annual one-shot. They are okay, but I find them a bit hard to read because part of my brain is constantly trying to meta-read it and figure out who each character is a combination of, while the other part is trying to read the actual story. Some of these were so fun. The Spider-Boy comics, JLX, X-Patrol. Personally, I was a big fan and would love to go back. The Xavier, Doctor Strange, Dr. Fate amalgamation was particularly interesting. More replies. Please know, Amalgam was not about characters, story, plot, or even art. It was about real-world companies trying to make a buck in desperation. If another crossover like this happened, the creators should look to Amalgam as an example of what not to do. It was about real-world companies trying to make a buck in desperation. But that is basically what it is all about. DC and Marvel don't publish Batman and Spider-Man because it's cool. It is because they sell. More replies. I think I can understand looking back at Amalgam with a different lens, maybe one of appreciation of this odd thing. However, when these came out, comic publishers were losing revenue and trying anything to get sales. As a comic reader, I had been through terrible event after every conceivable gimmick. This was a climax of horrible comics that both Marvel and DC were putting out at the time. Year 11 Biology in Focus PDF Scientific Method Experiment. Opens in a new window. Opens an external website. Opens an external website in a new window. Scribedy.scribedy.scribedy.scribedy.scribedy.scribedy
Oh, wow.
.scribedy.scribedy.scribedy.scribe.
Wow, it went Scrappy Dog, bro. Went wild, that one. So you gotta go out of here. Say, oopa. Jingly. Okay. Oopa. I'm gonna leave that there. This one. Over there or something.
And Dark Mofo, Tasmania's incredible 2024 festival lineup. Tourism Tasmania, Tales from the Island. The Guardian. Since 2013, on Tasmania's longest, darkest night, the Dark Mofo Festival has illuminated Hobart with fire, light, music and art as part of a program of provocative events. The festival is taking a pause to refresh in 2024. Only its winter feast and nude solstice swim will take place. However, visitors to the island won't have to travel far to find new chances to explore, discover and celebrate the festival spirit. The year will still be filled with festive highlights for visitors and locals alike. Here are a few to add to your calendar. Mona Foma, Hobart and Launceston. The 15th of February - 2nd March 2024. A roaming festival with no fixed location, Mona Foma calls itself ephemeral, a passing celebration of art, music and so forth. In 2024, the festival, hosted Bimina, will take place at sites in Hobart and Launceston. Its program is as eclectic as the environment in which it lives. The 2024 lineup includes headliners Courtney Barnett, Paul Kelly and Queens of the Stone Age, along with artistic wonders including cross-cultural showcases. In 2024, the festival, hosted Bimina, will take place at sites in Hobart and Launceston. Its program is as eclectic as the environment in which it lives. The 2024 lineup includes headliners Courtney Barnett, Paul Kelly and Queens of the Stone Age, along with artistic wonders including cross-cultural showcases, meditations, bespoke gin-based art, and a light installation called Sastrugi Sounds of the Antarctic Sea Ice. Echo Festival Swansea. 22 to 24th March 2024. Well known as a singer-songwriter, Ange Boxall spent time in London and Nashville before the beauty and community of Tasmania brought her home. Listening to Boxall describe her beloved Swansea, on Tasmania's east coast, is like watching a sculptor with her tools. We have those beautiful clear skies, very little wind, and fresh, clean air, she says. The wine vines are autumnal gold against the backdrop of that blue sky. As we move into the winter, we sit around fires drinking red wine under huge, dark skies full of stars. Now, as well as pursuing her love of music and co-owning a gin company, she's the creative producer of Biko Festival. People feel a deep level of connection and engagement, but they also have fun and can be a bit naughty. This is a festival that's very much based around traditions of harvest, new and old, Boxall says. In 2024, the festival will be held on the weekend before Easter, in and around an old stone barn and outbuildings in a sprawling rural setting. Echo revolves around sensory experiences, incorporating music, First Nations storytelling, food, yoga and self-discovery. It's multidisciplinary, she says. We celebrate all sorts of things, but we combine it with science. It's a festival where people feel a deep level of connection and engagement. But they also have fun and can be a bit naughty. Festival of Voices. The 28th of June - 7th July 2024. For those looking to lift their voices to warm up the mid-year months, one of Tasmania's first winter festivals may be just the ticket. The Festival of Voice brings joy and warmth to Hobart each July in the form of the Big Sing Bonfire, in which thousands of people come together for a legendary sing-along in Salamanca Place. This is a festival of creation and participation. As well as the bonfire, it offers multi-day workshops for people looking to hone their craft, with classical, contemporary, a cappella and songwriting intensives on offer. In these cold months, the Festival of Voices is a beacon that attracts vocal groups from across Australia and the world, and showcases a varied and rich program of choral, contemporary and cabaret to enliven the darkest of winters. Willie Smith's Midwinter Festival. 12 to 13th July 2024. Island locals are, according to Rachel Valentine, the coordinator of Willie Smith's Midwinter Festival. Adept at embracing the cool crispness of the darker months. Tasmanians are great at making the most of the time to embrace the warmth of creativity and connection, she says. The festival, held at the feet of the Sleeping Beauty mountain range in the Huon Valley, is a time when the locals get to shine in all that is weird and wonderful. While normally winter would be a cue to stay indoors, we come out for fire, feasting and revelry, she says. Valentine describes a firelit wonderland, with theatrical cooking, hay bales, music tents, roving performers and a secret speakeasy. Wear your blunnies and don your pagan finery. We're passionate about representing Tasmania to interstate and international visitors, she says. We feel there is a unique story and experience to be had here, that is everyday and real. It's a fascinating place, and we would love to inspire people to dive deeper into this beautiful, quirky island. Visitors to Midwinter Festival can expect to see the Big Willie in all its flaming glory, a towering effigy set alight to signify the start of the party. Participate in the wassail, an all-in paddock performance of sung poetry to bless the apple trees and bring on a prosperous harvest, and hear folk bands and tales from Tassie's best storytellers. There's also always the promise of a few surprises and plenty of merrymaking. It's a place to bring your dancing boots, Valentine says. So wear your blunnies and don your pagan finery. Mural Fest Sheffield. 3 to 9th November 2024. Since the mid-1980s, Sheffield, a small dairy community in the foothills of Mount Rowland, has blossomed into a town of art. More than 140 colorful murals provide a centerpiece to a host of artistic endeavors, including photography, glasswork, fine art painting, pottery, and even decorated letterboxes. Since 2003, the town has also hosted the annual Mural Fest. Every year, mural artists arrive to create pieces inspired by a chosen poem. 9 winning works are selected to be displayed until the following year, when it all happens again. There's plenty to keep visitors busy beyond art too, as well as being a gateway to 7,600 hectares of reserve, mountain views and water sports. Sheffield is part of the Tasting Trail, which offers opportunities to meet makers and devour local produce. Explore more tales from the island at Discover Tasmania.
Oh, you get it out of there. The new one. Illawarra. Yes. Festival. Illawarra. Wollongong.
The Disappointments -$10. Illawarra Leagues Club, Wollongong, the 13th of April. Advertisement. Ad. Only $10 pay at the door. I'm interested. Advertisement. Created by Illawarra Jazz Club. Share with someone you care for. View all events in Wollongong. Best of Wollongong events in your inbox. Wollongong Botanic Garden to host a cheap, family-friendly jazz festival. Illawarra Mercury Wollongong, NSW. Some of the musicians performing at the inaugural Woolcon Jazz Festival in September. Picture supplied. Some of the nation's greatest names in jazz are headed to Wollongong this spring for the first ever Woolcon Jazz Festival. The inaugural event, run by the Wollongong Conservatorium of Music, will host a day full of food, coffee and, most importantly, Amazing music on September 17th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Read more controversial rapper on tour and stopping by Wollongong in November. The festival will be a chance to combine all the things we are known for into one big, beautiful day of music and friendship, said head of the Vulcan Jazz program, Eric Dunnan. Young up-and-coming musicians are on the lineup, along with seasoned professionals, he said. Allowing musicians of all levels to see themselves as part of one big musical family. We will have former students performing with Australian legends and internationally renowned artists alongside kids ranging in age from 12 to 17. Some of whom are in their first. We will have allowing musicians of all levels to see themselves as part of one big musical family. We will have former students performing with Australian legends and internationally renowned artists alongside kids ranging in age from 12 to 17. Some of whom are in their first year of learning how to play, Dunnan said. Having Australian legends like Sandy and James as well as some of the younger, cutting-edge musicians like Melbourne bassist Tamara Murphy and Freya Garbett, a Vulcan faculty member alongside all our student musicians, meant having some of whom are in their first year of learning how to play, Dunnan said. Having Australian legends like Sandy and James as well as some of the younger, cutting-edge musicians like Melbourne bassist Tamara Murphy and Freya Garbett, a Vulcan faculty member alongside all our student musicians, mentoring the next generation of jazz musicians, is really special. Read more of Mice and Men spin-off for Wollongong's neurodiverse theatre company. The lineup: Chris Fields, Sandy Evans, James Greening, Freya Garbett, Max Alduca, Miles Thomas, Lucy Clifford, Pirashana Thevaraja, Stuart Vandergraaf, Dominic Kirk. Tamara Murphy, Spirograph Studies, Sydney Conservatorium of Music Jazz Orchestra and students from Sydney's Jazz Workshop, Wollongong High and Smiths Hill High Schools, and the Vulcan Jazz Program. The program: Vulcan Student Jazz Ensembles and School Jazz Bands 11 and 4 p.m. Sydney Conservatorium Jazz Orchestra, Dave Thicke Director 12 p.m. Chris Fields Afro-Indian Jazz Collective 12:45 and 1:45 sets. Sydney Conservatorium's Converge 1:15. Tamara Murphy Spirograph Studies 1:30 and 2:30 sets. Freya Garbett Music from the Waves 4 p.m. Tickets are $35 for adults, $30 for concession pensioner and concession card holders, $25 for parent/family of one of the students. $15 for high school students over 12. Headline shows have limited indoor seating, but face outwards to the lawn area. If you have special considerations and need to ensure a seat indoors for a particular performance, please email Vulcan directly at inquiries@vulcan.com.au. https://events.humanitics.com/Vulcan Jazz Festival. Wynn Entertainment Centre. What's on in Wollongong and Illawarra? Wynn Entertainment Centre is the largest entertainment venue in the Illawarra. The main auditorium has the flexibility to be configured for concerts, comedy shows, kids entertainment, sporting events and more with a capacity of 6,000. Click here for our venue statement on our COVID safe measures. Wynn Entertainment Centre is home to the Hawks in the National Basketball League. In 2018, it hosted the Fed Cup, now the Billie John King Cup, Australia versus Netherlands round for the International Tennis Federation. Homegrown and international stars to perform at the venue include Midnight Oil, John Farnham, Lady Gaga, Pink and Cher to name a few. It offers a variety of spaces for corporate functions including conventions, exhibitions, seminars, gala dinners and team building events. Casual dining options are available year-round through various on-site hospitality outlets. Win Entertainment Center Watson in Wollongong and Illawarra. Win Entertainment Center is the largest entertainment venue in the Illawarra. The main auditorium has the flexibility to be configured for concerts, comedy shows, kids entertainment, sporting events and more with a capacity of 6,000. Click here for our venue statement on our COVID safe measures. Win Entertainment Center is home to the Hawks in the National Basketball League. In 2018, it hosted the Fed Cup, now the Billie John King Cup, Australia versus Netherlands round for the International Tennis Federation. Homegrown and international stars to perform at the venue include Midnight Oil. Win Entertainment Center Watson in Wollongong and Illawarra. Win Entertainment Center is the largest entertainment venue in the Illawarra. The main auditorium has the flexibility to be configured for concerts, comedy shows, kids entertainment, sporting events and more with a capacity of 6,000. Click here for our venue statement on our COVID safe measures. Win Entertainment Center is home to the Hawks in the National Basketball League. In 2018, it hosted the Fed Cup, now the Billie John King Cup, Australia versus Netherlands round for the International Tennis Federation. Homegrown and international stars to perform at the venue include Midnight Oil, John Farnham, Lady Gaga, Pink and Cher to name a few. It offers a variety of spaces for corporate functions including conventions, exhibitions, seminars, gala dinners and team building events. Casual dining options are available year-round through various on-site hospitality outlets. Win Entertainment Center is a proud part of Venues NSW. Win Television is the official naming rights sponsor.
Finish now, is it? Finish. Okay. The back. What's this one? Oh, Chile. The plane on there. Saturday, Albania. Chile, Albania. Chile, France. Chile, Peru. Then Chile playing Ecuador, Colombia. So it plays those ones, then it goes to June. No, isn't that another one before June? But anyway. Always playing a match here, Copa America. On the June is Copa America. All right, okay. Copa America, Héctor. Mira, Copa America, Perú, Argentina, pues ese, Uruguay. Oh, this one doesn't say Copa America, or maybe. I'll leave it away ahí, porque lo vean. Okay. Oh, se cortó. What happened, bro? Oh, no, this one. Leave it like that. That. No sé. No sé.
The Intercept, Raw Story and Alternet sue OpenAI for copyright infringement. Technology. The Guardian. Technology. The Intercept. Raw Story and Alternet sue OpenAI for copyright infringement. Progressive US outlets file lawsuits claiming the company in effect plagiarized journalists' work to develop ChatGPT. Thursday, 29 February 2024, 9.598. OpenAI and Microsoft are facing a fresh round of lawsuits from news publishers over allegations that their generative artificial intelligence products violated copyright laws and illegally trained by using journalists' work. 3 progressive US outlets. The Intercept. Raw Story and Alternet filed suits in Manhattan federal court on Wednesday, demanding compensation from the tech companies. The news outlets claim that the companies, in effect, plagiarized copyright-protected articles to develop and operate ChatGPT, which has become OpenAI's most prominent generative AI tool. They allege that ChatGPT was trained not to respect copyright, ignores proper attribution, and fails to notify users when the service's answers are generated using journalists' protected work. OpenAI claims New York Times hacked ChatGPT to build copyright lawsuit. Raw Story feels that news organizations must stand up to OpenAI, which is violating the Digital Millennium Copyright Act and profiting from the hard work of journalists whose jobs are under siege. Raw Story and Alternet CEO John Byrne said in a joint statement. It's important to democracy that a diverse array of news sites continue to thrive. OpenAI's violations, if not checked, will further decimate the news industry, and with it, the critical news reporters who effect positive change. The Intercept suit lists both OpenAI and its most prominent investor Microsoft as defendants, while the joint suit filed by Raw Story and Alternet only lists OpenAI. The complaints are otherwise nearly identical, and the law firm Lower V and Lower V is representing all 3 outlets in the suits. Raw Story and Alternet suit did not include Microsoft because of a partnership with Emerson that helps fund their investigative reporting, according to Byrne. OpenAI and Microsoft did not return requests for comment. Defendants had a choice. They could train ChatGPT using works of journalism with the copyright management information protected by the DMCA intact, or they could strip it away. Defendants chose the latter, the 2 complaints state. The suits filed on Wednesday are the latest in a series of legal actions against OpenAI over alleged copyright infringement, including a suit from the New York Times in December that demanded the company destroy any chatbots or training data that used the outlet's protected material. On Monday, lawyers for OpenAI filed a motion to dismiss parts of that lawsuit and argued that its services were not in meaningful competition with the paper. The wave of lawsuits reflects a media industry.
I just like to say, if you're gonna go back to the slut or the cunt or whatever the words are from confusion or or whatever, gotta go to that person who owns that system or item or programmacy or how he made it to go in there and kill the 2 robots and destroy that program, burn it and throw it in the bin. Create a new program with a new startup and start again. This one throw in the bin. Go away, go, goodbye.
Industry-wide concern that generative AI will compete with established publishers as a source of information for internet users, while further sapping advertising revenues and undermining the
And if it to whatever it come into 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 AI tools, how you create it, how you create it, how you create it, how you create it, how you create it.
quality of online news. Generative AI has already flooded the internet with unreliable information and poor quality sites that mimic news outlets and publications, including Sports Illustrated. Have used fake AI generated authors instead of human journalists.
You are created, you are created. As soon as you can be the one to control what you created it. Stupid fucking creation. Insane. Makes money for ya. Kills the internet for ya. Does the internet. Makes money for ya.
Journalists. While several news outlets and authors have chosen to pursue legal action against OpenAI, other publishers have opted to partner with the company. International publisher Axel Springer, which owns Germany-based publications Welt and Bild, along with Politico and Business Insider, struck a multi-year deal that would give OpenAI access to its work in exchange for an undisclosed amount of financial compensation. The three suits filed on Wednesday are seeking damages and profits from OpenAI, while the New York Times suit states that the defendants should be held accountable for billions of dollars in statutory and actual damages. Number ticker. Top left. Bottom left. Top right. Bottom right. Number goal exceeded marker percentage. Slash goal exceeded marker percentage. Slash ticker. Heading. Number paragraphs. Slash paragraphs highlighted text. Number choice cards. Slash choice cards. We will be in touch to remind you to contribute. Look out for a message in your inbox in. If you have any questions about contributing, please contact us. Share.
No, what the hell?
Google fined €250 in France for breaching intellectual property deal. Google, The Guardian, has been fined €250 pound 213 meters by French regulators for breaching an agreement over paying media companies for reproducing their content online. France's competition watchdog said on Wednesday that it was fining the US tech company for breaches linked to intellectual property rules related to news media publishers. The regulator also cited concerns about Google's AI service. The competition authority said Google's AI-powered chatbot Bard, since rebranded as Gemini, was trained on content from publishers and news agencies without notifying them. The watchdog said in a statement that the fine was for failing to respect commitments made in 2022 and accused Google of not negotiating in good faith with news publishers on how much to compensate them for use of their content. Google had pledged not to contest the facts as part of settlement proceedings, the watchdog said, adding the company also proposed a series of measures to remedy certain shortcomings. France has been battling for years to protect the publishing right and revenue of its press and news agencies against what it termed the domination of powerful tech companies that share news content or show news stories in web searches. Google and other online platforms have been accused of making billions from news without sharing the revenue with those who gather it. To tackle this, the EU created a form of copyright, called neighboring rights, that allows print media to demand compensation for using their content. France has been a test case for the EU rules. In 2019, it was the first EU country to enact the directive on the publishing rights of media companies and news agencies, which required large tech platforms to open talks with publishers seeking.
Alright, how does it work? If hear the news, they said, oh, this came from this TV station and he said this and he was talking about this, so we're going to play a bit of it, 45 seconds, so everyone, it might contain whatever indigenous or culture, whatever they say, dead people or whatever, anyway, and the plane and the whatever, all. That's what I'm saying.
Remuneration for use of news content. After initial resistance, Google and Facebook both agreed.
Whoa. Don't turn it off ever again, dickhead.
Google fined €250 in France for breaching intellectual property deal. Google, The Guardian, has been fined €250 pound 213 meters.
Alright. If the news said this came from Australia, but it's saying about the same thing that they're talking about, alright? Something like that. They said that Australia was saying, why don't you follow this? Why don't you do this? What? And they say, no, in the markets over here, you can't be doing that, Australia, because you're falling behind in the goal, gas or the floods or the market or the floods or something, or the bad weather. Australia, no, one part is floods in Northern Territory, another part is really bad, it's really bad, and the news could clash to another, here's what Australia or is going on there or whatever, and is it sold to that news to be there wherever?
By French regulators for breaching an agreement over paying media companies for reproducing their content online.
All right, and another one in Australia is this I'll have to get it. And it's the IBU app. You could get all the apps in one, and I don't know how much is.
France's competition watchdog said on Wednesday that it was fining.
It's incredible, incredible. They say it's the world or whatever, and you see a Malaysian lady or Indonesian or Filipino or I can't remember. Oh, sorry, I'm shaking my hand.
The US tech company for breaches linked to intellectual property rules related to news media publishers. The regulator also cited concerns about Google's AI service. The competition authority said Google's AI-powered chatbot Bard, since rebranded as Gemini, was trained on content from publishers and news agencies without notifying them. The watchdog said in a statement that the fine was for
What was
failing to
that?
respect commitment. The competition authority said Google's AI-powered chatbot Bard, since rebranded as Gemini, was trained on content from publishers and news agencies without notifying them. The watchdog said in a statement that the fine was for failing to respect commitments made in 2022 and accused Google of not negotiating in good faith with news publishers on how much to compensate them for use of their content. Google had pledged not to contest the facts as part of settlement proceedings, the watchdog said. Adding the company also proposed a series of measures to remedy certain shortcomings. France has been battling for years to protect the publishing right and revenue of its press and news agencies against what it termed the domination of powerful tech companies that share news content or show news stories in web searches. Google and other online platforms have been accused of making billions from news without sharing the revenue with those who gather it. To tackle this, the EU created a form of copyright, called neighboring rights, that allows print media to demand compensation for using their content. France has been a test case for the EU rules. In 2019, it was the first EU country to enact the directive on the publishing rights of media companies and news agencies, which required large tech platforms to open talks with publishers seeking remuneration for use of news content. After initial resistance, Google and Facebook both agreed to pay some French media for articles shown in web searches. The latest fine is linked to a copyright dispute in France over online content. The case was triggered by complaints in 2019 from some of the country's biggest news organizations representing French magazines and newspapers, as well as the news agency Agence France Presse AFP. In 2022, French regulators accepted commitments from Google to negotiate fairly with news organizations. Under the agreement, the tech company has to provide news groups with a transparent offer of payment within 3 months of receiving a copyright complaint. The dispute appeared to be resolved in 2022 when Google dropped its appeal against an initial €500 and fine issued at the end of an investigation carried out by the French competition watchdog. Google had fought hard against the idea of paying for content and was fined €500 in 2021 for failing to negotiate in good faith. In Wednesday's statement, the watchdog said Google violated the terms of 4 out of 7 commitments agreed in the 2022 settlement, including conducting negotiations with publishers in good faith and providing transparent information. The watchdog in particular cited Google, including in Wednesday's statement, the watchdog said Google violated the terms of 4 out of 7 commitments agreed in the 2022 settlement, including conducting negotiations with publishers in good faith and providing transparent information. The watchdog in particular cited Google's AI chatbot Bard, launched in 2023, which it said was trained on data from unspecified media outlets and news agencies, without the company informing them or the regulator. Subsequently, Google linked the use of the content concerned by its artificial intelligence service to the display of protected content, the watchdog said, adding that in doing so Google hindered the ability of publishers and press agencies to negotiate fair prices. The fine comes as many publishers, writers and newsrooms seek to limit the scraping or automatic collection of data by AI services of their online content, without their consent or fair compensation. In a statement, Google said, Google is the first and only platform to have signed a significant number of licensing.
If you can, if you can do your own news and get your own news on your freedom of speech, hate what I hate, life to be life, freedom of speech, web two, oh yeah, you were using AI, oh you are copyright, oh yeah, right, whatever. So you knew that. So we pay the price, has to pay a little bit, contribute. You can help out or do it, whatever. Don't fuck us up. Don't fuck us up. We are a majority, small community.
Licensing agreements with 280 French news publishers under the European Copyright Directive. These cover more than 450 of their publications and pay publishers tens of millions.
But to how you know how to do it, where to create a website, into react with the world, into multi 4, 5, 6, 7 in one creator for two Facebook money maker or the owner who created Facebook.
Millions of euros a year. Despite this progress, the French Competition Authority today imposed a €250 fine on Google for how we have conducted those negotiations. They also insisted on changes to how we negotiate, which we have agreed to as part of a settlement of a long.
Okay, Facebook was created and another social media was created. Twitter, YouTube, other, they got settings, and the crazy mind, lawsuits.
Long-running case.
Oh my god.
Case. The statement added, we've settled because it's time to move on and, as our many agreements with publishers show, we want to focus on the larger goal of sustainable approaches to connecting people with quality content, and on working constructively with French publishers. But it's important to note that the fine is not proportionate to issues raised by the French Competition Authority. It also doesn't sufficiently take into account the efforts we have made to answer and resolve the concerns raised in an environment where it's very hard to set a course because we can't predict which way the wind will blow next. Agence France Presse and Reuters contributed to this report. Now is not the time to do anything more to slow the economy. It's already in danger of stalling. Greg Jericho, The Guardian. When the February unemployment figures are released on Thursday at 11.30 am, there is a decent chance that, according to one measure, Australia will be in recession. But while it might not feel like the recessions of the 1980s or 1990s, it should serve as a warning to both the Reserve Bank and the government that the economy is extremely weak and does not need any more rate rises. Whenever we have awful GDP growth like we saw in December, talk always turns to recessions. Because of the old definition that a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. It's not a particularly good definition, and most journalists will now preface it as a technical recession. Personally, I don't care much about GDP growth because in my view the only thing that matters with recessions is jobs. Did anyone think that the 1990s recession only began in 1991 when the June quarter that year showed GDP had fallen 0.2% off the back of a fall of 1.3% in the March quarter? I doubt it. More likely everyone twigged rather earlier, given in 1990 the unemployment rate went from 6.1% to 8%. We don't need to wait for GDP growth to know we are in a recession, and doing so can mean we wait too long to do anything good about it. It's why I prefer to use the US economist Claudia Sahn's rule of recessions. Her method looks at changes in unemployment rates. Specifically, if the 3-month average rises more than 0.5 percentage points, now is not the time to do anything more to slow the economy. It's already in danger of stalling. Greg Jericho, The Guardian. When the February unemployment figures are released on Thursday at 11.30 am, there is a decent chance that, according to one measure, Australia will be in recession. But while it might not feel like the recessions of the 1980s or 1990s, it should serve as a warning to both the Reserve Bank and the government that the economy is extremely weak and does not need any more rate rises. Whenever we have awful GDP growth like we saw in December, talk always turns to recessions. Because of the old definition that a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. It's not a particularly good definition, and most journalists will now preface it as a technical recession. Personally, I don't care much about GDP growth because in my view the only thing that matters with recessions is jobs. Did anyone think that the 1990s recession only began in 1991 when the June quarter that year showed GDP had fallen 0.2% off the back of a fall of 1.3% in the March quarter? I doubt it. More likely everyone twigged rather earlier, given in 1990 the unemployment rate went from 6.1% to 8%. We don't need to wait for GDP growth to know we are in a recession, and doing so can mean we wait too long to do anything good about it. It's why I prefer to use the US economist Claudia Sahn's rule of recessions. Her method looks at changes in unemployment rates. Specifically, if the 3-month average rises more than 0.5 percentage points above the minimum of the previous 12 months, for example, 4.2% compared to a minimum of 3.6%, then welcome to recession town, population U. But if governments and central banks act as soon as some rule is triggered, you can avoid the recession becoming a deep one. Sign up for Guardian Australia's free morning and afternoon email newsletters for your daily news roundup. It's clear that the measure works in Australia as well as the US. It's also useful for comparing the size of recessions. The 1990s recession, for example, was much worse here, while there's a reason we call it the GFC, and in the US it is the Great Recession. Also, it's pretty clear measures, such as the quasi-job guarantee of JobKeeper, was a lot better than whatever Donald Trump was doing in 2020. If the graph does not display, click here. This measure is important because of where we are right now. In January, the SARM measure hit 0.4 percentage points. If Thursday's unemployment rate is 4.2% or higher, we will have gone over the 0.5 percentage point recession line. Even if it doesn't happen today, the RBAR's most recent estimates for unemployment suggest we go above 0.5 percentage points in the next couple of months. If the graph does not display, click here. The RBAR knows about this rule, because last year when RBAR examined the likelihood of a recession, it argued that in Australia the SARM rule should apply when the unemployment is 0.75 percentage points above the 12 months minimum, not 0.5 percentage points. This rather conveniently means they are not forecasting a recession. The problem is that since 1978, every time the unemployment rate has risen in a year by the 0.6 percentage points, the RBAR is estimating it will rise. It has kept rising by more than the 0.75%, the RBAR says triggers a recession. In effect, the RBAR is arguing we will not go into a recession despite forecasting rises in unemployment that have led to a recession. Another concern is that youth employment often indicates where total unemployment is heading, and right now things are not great. The unemployment rate for 15- to 24-year-olds in the past 12 months has gone from 7.9% to 9.4%. If the graph does not display, click here. We can also adapt sum's method for other figures, such as the change in the average hours worked per capita. Even a casual look shows that the average number of hours worked falls pretty dramatically when a recession or the GFC hits. If the graph does not display, click here. If we use the same 3 months average, but this time compare it to the maximum of the past year, because unlike unemployment, a higher employment number is better, we get the following graph that suggests we're about to enter a recession. If the graph does not display, click here. So is a recession locked in stone? Well, Claudia Son herself says her rule is a historical pattern, not a law of nature. And right now is a good time for the historical pattern to break because the economy remains very weird. Unemployment and average hours worked might be falling, but oddly employment itself is holding up pretty well. In the 12 months to January, employment grew a very healthy 2.6% above the 30-year average of 2.1%. And the percentage of adults employed in the past year has fallen only slightly from 64.6% to 64.1%. If the graph does not display, click here. In recessions, unemployment rises, but employment also falls, and we are not seeing that now. But the crucial point is that the Psalm rule of recessions is designed to ensure governments and central banks get in front of the problem rather than wait 6 months to find out how bad things are. Alerts should be flashing in both the Treasury and the Reserve Bank. Now is not the time to do anything more to slow the economy it's already in danger of stalling.
Exactamente. Vamos a analizar los rivales de Liverpool. Yo creo que Liverpool está mal. Es la cenicienta del grupo. Después de vender todo lo que vendió Liverpool, es la cenicienta del grupo. Mal. Después de no incorporar, está prácticamente eliminado. Liverpool, rivales, Palmeiras de Brasil, ni más ni menos, de Argentina. Y el otro rival de Liverpool que nos falta mencionar, para terminar de analizar las series, es Independiente del Valle. Un rival siempre complicado, gracias a Pablo Repeto se convirtió en un grande. Y me parece que es un rival de temer hoy en día en Sudamérica. Además entiendo que desde el punto de vista, como te decía recién, Marco, físico, a nosotros los equipos ecuatorianos siempre nos cuesta, ¿no? Porque tienen una destreza física, una rapidez que a los uruguayos nos cuesta. Los equipos ecuatorianos siempre nos han costado, que tiran la pelota para adelante no podemos parar. Y además que juegan bien, ¿no? Es que el futuro sudamericano está en Ecuador. Tenés costa, tenés altura, los jugadores se adaptan para las dos cosas. Sí.
Grupo F, Palmeiras, Independiente del Valle, San Lorenzo y Liverpool. Terrible. Decíamos que a Liverpool iba a tocar algo tremendo y le tocó Palmeiras, Independiente del Valle en la altura de Quito, San Lorenzo en Argentina, un Liverpool que no ha ganado un solo partido en los 5 que lleva disputados. Lo mandó a la guerra con un escarbadiente Palma a su técnico, Emiliano Alfaro, la figura histórica de Liverpool, con un equipo que no ha podido ganar en 5 partidos en el ámbito local. ¿Ustedes creen que puede tener posibilidades con Palmeiras, Independiente del Valle, San Lorenzo?
Y Independiente del Valle que no deja de ser un equipo en los últimos años se ha metido en la pelea de todo. Por eso. Entonces, Sudamericana, peleador
sinceramente no le veo la más mínima.
Hoy, cuarto puesto es lo que parece.
Yo lo que creo es que hay, como a veces nos pasa, un desconocimiento hasta no ver algunos equipos y nos basamos exclusivamente, primero en el nombre, si nos gusta o no nos gusta el nombre, y lo otro, nos guiamos mucho en los apellidos o los nombres de los jugadores. Y hay veces que todas estas cosas ya nos han pasado. Y voy al mismo ejemplo. Un día apareció Independiente del Valle y nos reíamos porque había un Independiente del Valle, no tenía que Independiente es uno solo, el de Avellaneda. Y de repente ese cuadro paseó a varios equipos uruguayos por su manera de jugar. Entonces, yo creo que a mí como que me van formateando en cada copa. Todos los años aprendo a ser muy mucho más cautelosos.
Así que bueno, no, hasta aquí un poco los dichos de los distintos de periodistas, de la prensa, de los distintos países que van analizando este grupo y un poco tocando desde todos, primero el respeto a Independiente del Valle, o sea, todos le tienen respeto a un equipo que se ganó ese respeto a base de buenas competiciones, a base de títulos, tanto de Recopa como Copa Sudamericana, y que va en búsqueda de su Copa Libertadores en un grupo totalmente áspero. No sé si para Independiente del Valle solo, sino obviamente, como lo decían sobre todo los uruguayos que tienen un poco más de conocimiento, a un Liverpool que hoy está empobrecido, que hoy parecería terminar último por lo poco que tiene, porque en el torneo no gana, van 5 fechas y todavía no gana, entonces realmente le toman mucho respeto. En Argentina saben también de Independiente del Valle que ha sabido eliminar a Boca y a River de una misma Copa Libertadores, entre otros equipos con los cuales ya le ha tocado jugar de Argentina, como Argentinos Juniors también. Entonces saben que es un grupo complicado, saben realmente que es un rival a temer, a tenerle cautela. Entonces yo creo que todos saben de que Independiente del Valle siempre está para cosas importantes, para mucha competencia, y es por eso que hoy por hoy todos toman sus recaudos y que dejan sus titulares, ¿no? Con respecto a lo que piensan, a lo que opinan sobre este gran equipo ecuatoriano que va en búsqueda sin duda alguna de su primer Copa Libertadores. Así que bueno, gente, sí, hasta aquí el video de hoy. Hemos terminado con lo que ha sido la prensa sudamericana hablando y opinando sobre Independiente del Valle.
They be in the desert? No way. Only fair income vehicles last out here. Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid EV. Australia ready.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about the Biden administration, the EPA, the National Security Advisor, and their message to systems. because of the way the United States is.
Oh, oh, oh. My God. My God, my God, my God. Okay. Okay. What's one more? No more. Okay, God.